You ready?
Hey, listen!
Get some.
Yeah.
Hey, listen!
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Lawrence's Let's Plays. Today I'm bringing to you my picks for the top 5 Mages in Watcher of Realms. To my returning viewers, thank you so much for your continued support. And if you're new to the channel, thank you as well for stopping by. Guys, like, comment, and subscribe to help my channel to grow. With nothing left to say, I'm Lawrence, and let's play. So let's jump in here and let's find our mages. Found them. So first and foremost, who is the #1 mage in the game? If you have her, you love her. If you don't, you want her. She is the absolute AoE goddess of the mages, and that is Viona. By far and away, the #1 mage in the game, in my opinion. Again, this is just my objective opinion. I believe she is the absolute best mage in the game. Why she's so good, well, let's go over and find out why. Level 60, 43, 41 base attack. Attack interval 2.6 seconds, so she actually doesn't have too bad an attack interval. That's fairly quick. And you'll also see when I go over her skills that the nice thing about Viona is you don't have to build her with speed. Basic attack applies Mortal Kiss on the target. What does Mortal Kiss do? Deals AoE magic damage equal to 25% of the caster's attack to the effect bearer and the surrounding enemies in a larger range every second. Airborne units take half of the damage. So, magic attack basic deals 100% damage to one enemy. Attack speed bonuses do not affect basic attack. This can be skilled up to an additional 20% damage, so 120 to one enemy. Keep in mind that, like I indicated before, you do not have to build her with speed, which is really nice. That is a sub-stat or even a main stat on a piece of gear that you do not have to invest in. And here's what makes her unbelievable. Reaper's Grasp. Manually activated alt deals 700% AoE damage to enemies in range. Elite enemies with HP below 25% after a short delay. Elite, kills enemies with HP below 25% after a short delay. Elite monsters and bosses are excluded. I do wish that there was a little bit more information about that instead of just simply saying after a short delay. Well, how long is the delay? Is it like 2 seconds, 3 seconds, whatever? You'll see with skill ups, the damage goes up to 900% AoE damage, so it's a quick AoE burst damage that she does. Execution threshold does get reduced to where they only have to be below 35% to execute them, and the skill cost going down 100 makes her max rage cap 800. She gets a gain of initial rage plus 100, so then she goes from 600 initial rage or 500 to 600, so she has to go from 600 to 800. So she's able to get to this alt fairly quickly, and that's important. Soul extraction passive. The hero extracts the souls of the victims into the crystal on the staff. She can collect up to 6 souls. Each soul increases her attack by 2% when there are at least 2 enemies within the range of basic attack. Consumes 1 soul and plus 1 target of basic attack. Soul capacity goes up an extra 6 souls, so then it becomes 12 souls. And at level 5, additional attack provided by each soul plus 1%. So then the attack boost becomes 3%. On 12 souls, that is a 36% attack boost. Nasty. Very nasty. Skeletal Shield Auto applies Bone Shield to the ally with the lowest HP percentage in range. The skill's cooldown is reduced by 2 seconds for every skill up to 12 seconds. Bone Shield duration plus 2 seconds. Physical damage reduction of Bone Shield plus 5%. This is okay. Like, this isn't like really something to really focus on. It's kind of nice that she provides this Bone Shield, but I'm not going to go into depth with that because it's like the least cool thing about her kit. Obtain Hero Zealous, the Blind King, to unlock the following bonus effect. Bone Shield restores extra HP equal to 10% attack per second for that ally that she provides us with. I do want to point out, too, that if you have Zealous, I was fortunate enough to get both of them during their banners. She really helps Silas as well in his alt, and if you watch my top 5 marksman video, you'll see that Silas, because of having Viona, whether you use her in your team or not, just simply having Viona in the gallery because you summoned her, gives him a bonus of 100% more damage for his alt, which is just nasty. So let's go into her awakenings. When applying Mortal Kiss, magic resist reduction will also be applied. That's a 10% magic resistance to the enemies. I don't have an A1, so she would clap even harder. If you watch my previous videos, you'll know that I show that she can, with using ultimates or even just her basic attack, she can actually solo Gear Raid 1-18, which is just disgusting. And I don't even have her at A1 yet, where it would be even faster. It would be a faster clear. Attack plus 300 on A2. A3 is really nice when Reaper's Grasp kills an enemy with Mortal Kiss. The ghostly hands going around on her basic AoE. Deal 120% in magic damage. Can't talk. To all other enemies around it. So it's nasty. You kill one enemy, it's like pop, 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 and it just does magic damage around all the other enemies. Cost -2, which isn't really that important. I think her cost is 19, so to go to 17, she's actually pretty inexpensive to put out on the battlefield to deploy. Bone Chill deals double damage to enemies with Mortal Kiss. So Viona is the absolute queen of AoE, the goddess. She's going to help you in every bit of content that revolves around AoE enemies, whether that be story campaign, gear raids. She's going to help you a lot. She's great in a lot of the arenas. I just don't think that she's going to do well against single target, because that's not what she's focused on. And then second place for me would be Comet. Comet is nasty. He's very, very good. He falls a little bit due to how long it takes to get to his ult, and on the basis of like his ability to solo gear raid 1-18, I found that I could not do that unless I had a boost from Dolores. So let's look at his hero details. Attack interval 2.6 seconds. Max level 4633 on attack basic. Attacks deal 100% magic damage to 2 enemies. It goes up to 120%. So not AoE, but multi-hit. Festering Curse manually activated ult. During the ultimate deals 320 AoE damage with each attack for 15 seconds. The duration goes to 20. The damage goes to 400%. Skill cost -100. So he goes from initial or max rage of 1300 to 1200. But to go from 600 to 1200, it takes him a long time to get to his ult. And that's kind of a negative. Curse of Obliteration passive. Every 7 attacks applies curse to enemy target. Next attack to an enemy target with curse can trigger Obliteration Strike again. That's his talent. Obliteration Strike deals 400% extra high damage to enemies who have not been attacked. That's pretty nasty. The curse duration can go up an extra 2 seconds. Required attack can go down to 7 attacks. Deals 120% magic damage to 2 enemies for every kill. Goes up to 160% damage. Very, very nasty. Again, like Viona, incredibly strong in all content that revolves around having to hit a bunch of enemies versus hitting a single enemy. Like, he's not going to do well on Guild Boss. Infernal Plague can bounce up to 1 extra target. That's great. So instead of hitting 2 enemies, now he's hitting 3. Attack plus 5% on his Awaken 2. Increase the ultimate attack range at 3. Rage regen auto plus 1. When dealing damage, Infernal Plague inflicts curse on the target now. So now when he does that passive where he hits the 2 enemies but 3, because you'd already got the 3 from AoE 1, now he can apply curse to where they can't use their basic attacks. So incredibly strong. Definitely want him as well. Third place, Zealous. Choosing Zealous because he's actually really strong in gear raid as well, and any content that requires AoE damage against multiple enemies. Again, not going to be a boss killer, so don't even think about using him in like Guild Boss. It's not going to help you. Attack 4479 at max level 60. His attack interval is very slow. Very, very slow. It might be the slowest attack I've seen in the entire game at 5 seconds. But when attacking, creates a ground effect area that deals 25% AoE damage per second to multiple enemies for 5 seconds. Airborne units take half the damage. Attack speed bonuses do not affect basic attack. So like Viona, you don't have to worry about building him with any speed. Generates a large ground effect area to the front, dealing 100% AoE damage. This is his manually activated alt running sticks. Afterward deals 50% AoE damage every second for 10 seconds. Airborne units take half the damage. Burst damage increase plus 10. Skill cost -50. Initial rage plus 50. You're welcome to read over all this. I'm not going to go through all this because it's a lot of shit to read. But just know this. He gets his initial rage up to, I think it's, initial rage 40, 80, 160. Am I reading that right? And then that one. Okay, 200. So he goes to 500 initial rage. Skill cost -50, skill cost -50. So 900, looks like he gets his initial rage reduced by, but he still has to go up 400 rage just to be able to cast his ult. Nethermark passive increases the damage caused by ground effect area by 6% per second. That can go up to 10%. Nice. All enemies in the ground effect area gain vulnerability magic damage. Now this is really nice. Magic damage taken an additional 10%. It goes up to 1, 2, 3, 4 additional percent, so 14% additional damage to all enemies, magic damage to all enemies in his ground effect area, which is great. So he actually does really well solo as well in Gear Raid 1. I don't have a Zealous, but I know a Zealous can absolutely solo that as well. He might need a boost from Dolores, much like Comet, to be able to get to his ult faster, but I'm pretty sure he can just about solo that on his own as well, and that's a lot of damage. So even if you're not really using him on his own, he pairs really nicely with the other mages because of this additional 14% magic damage that all enemies will take by your other mages. So let's go into his awakenings. Awakening 1 increases ground effects duration on basic attacks by a second. Not really that impactful, to be honest. Attack plus 5 is great. Running 6 duration plus 2 seconds, so his ult's going to last longer. Cost -3. Now this is important to note because his cost is 29 right now. If you subtract it by 3, then it's 26. And also from watching other content creators' videos, I know someone put up a video, it might have been Ivy Lee, someone put up a video that showed that the devs have listened and they realized that his cost is way too high for a mage, and they're even reducing it further. So if you reduce it here, if you had an Awakened 4, he'd go down to 26, and then I believe they're reducing it further by like, I think it's down to like going to be 24 or something like that. So then he's going to be a less costly mage to get out on the field to deploy. Increases AoE damage by 20% and extends the ground effect area created with basic attack. So like I said, again, really solid. If you're dealing with multiple enemies to provide AoE damage, just don't think about using him in content that is going to require you singling out a target like a guild boss. Not going to help you. 4th place is going to be Ajax. Let's look at his hero details. Max level 60, 4510, attack interval 3.5. Basic attack has a 10% chance of inflicting burning, which burning is great because we know that it does 20% magic damage per second, but it is a low percentage chance, so don't bank on this happening very often. 100% AoE damage to multiple enemies in range. That goes up to typical fare for a basic attack for a mage. 120% damage. Destructive Breath manually activated ult. 104% AoE damage per second for 5 seconds, and inflicts burning. Again, I like when it says inflicts burning, not a percentage chance. It just simply does it, so that's great. Damage plus 20, damage plus 20, so that's going to go up an additional 40%, so 180 AoE damage. Skill cost, they realized how expensive his skill cost was in his initial rages, so look at this, like all 5 or all 4 of these skill ups reduce skill cost. So his skill cost goes from 1200 max rage, which is really high, to 800, but he still has to build from 400 rage to 800. So that's a big ask. It's going to take a while for him to get to his ult. Thunderstrike auto. Basic attack has a 15% chance to cast lightning at up to 5 targets in range, dealing 150% AoE damage, inflicting slow. So that's nice, a little bit of crowd control to slow down the enemies. Damage increases another 24, 30, 40, 50%, so it goes to 200% AoE damage. Again, the 15% chance, though, is a very low percentage chance. When any enemy approaches within 2 tiles of the hero, inflicts a magic resistance reduction on them. That is a 10% reduction in their magic defense, and goes up an additional 20%. So that's nice. 30% magic resistance reduction. Again, much like a Silas, he will do okay on his own, but he really will pair well with other mages, providing that additional damage to enemies that reduces their magic resistance. So let's go into his awakenings. When Destructive Breath is activated, increases crit damage by 40%. That's quite nasty. That's during his ult. Attack plus 5%, trigger chance plus 10%. That is on the lightning strike, so that's nice. That actually will increase to 25% chance instead of 15. Cost -3. He is pretty costly. Hold up. I believe he's quite costly as well. Yeah, 26. So that'll go down to a cost of 3. Or 3, yeah, right. A cost of 23. And after casting Thunderstrike, increases the damage dealt by 25% for 7 seconds. So that's nice. Increased damage, an additional 25% on Thunderstrike, which we increase the trigger chance of Thunderstrike by 10%, so 25% chance to hit up to 5 enemies. Pretty solid. So he's really solid as well. Again, I would pair him with other mages to really get the best benefit out of him. And again, anywhere where you're trying to hit multiple enemies to provide AoE damage, he'll do great. He'll really do great paired up with like a Viona, a Comet, even a Zealous. I just don't expect to use him in content where you hit a single enemy. And with that being said, final spot is Nocturne. Got a little soft spot in my heart for this guy, I'm not going to lie. I really love his design. He is the very first legendary hero that I pulled when I started playing this game globally. And I love him. He has amazing single target damage. You'll notice my first 4 were all AoE. I think AoE is always going to be better than single target on mages. But this is Nocturne. Let's go into his hero details. 4636 attack, 2.6 interval is not too slow, pretty good. 100% magic damage on basic, again, it goes to 120, pretty standard fare on a basic attack for mages. Impure Wings, manually activated alt, attack range expands, each attack doing magic damage as much as 180% plus 150% magic damage. I'm not sure why they worded this way, that's really weird to me. Lasting for 25 seconds. It's like, he does magic damage. Oh, also he does magic damage. Like, what? Damage increased up to an additional 70%. I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, please, does that mean 70 goes to 250 and the extra 150 also goes up 70 to 220? Not really sure. Please let me know in the comments. Magic damage lasting for 25 seconds goes up to a 30-second duration, and skill cost minus 100. So it goes down from 900 to 800 max rage. 300 to 800 is still quite a ways for him to get to his ult. When Impure Wings is on, increases attack speed by 40. It always targets the enemy with the highest defense. Attack speed 10, 10, 20, 20. So a 60 bonus, so his attack speed goes up by 100. So you could build him with a little bit of speed, but not really necessary, since when he has his alt active, and because of that passive, if you get skill ups into this, he's going to gain an automatic 100 speed. Each attack has a 15% chance to inflict an additional real damage equal to 300% of attack. I don't understand the wording in some of these skills, though, because I see it says true damage, it says real damage. To me, real damage, true damage, it's the same thing. It's ignoring defense. Damage increase, 80%, 380. Trigger chance goes to 5% increase, so 20% chance to inflict an additional real damage of 380% damage. Not bad. And cost, you'll see, is pretty low for a mage, 19. Go into his Awakenings, Impure Wings duration plus 5 seconds, so his ult's going to last longer. Attack plus 5% is nice. During the effect of Impure Wings, increases crit rate and crit damage by 20%. That's very nice. Crit rate plus 8%. And finally, the first 3 basic attacks of Impure Wings triggers Dark Sacrifice. And if we go back in, his Dark Sacrifice is this passive, I believe. Yes, so the 25% chance of landing the 380% damage if you have it skilled up. The first 3 basic attacks will of Impure Wings, his alt is going to trigger Dark Sacrifice, so not too bad. So all in all, that is my picks, guys. I welcome your comments to see what you thought about my list. Did I leave someone out that you think I should have added to the list? How would you rank the heroes as far as within the mage character class? And yeah, let me know what you guys thought in the comments. If you found this information helpful and informative, please make sure that you do smash that like button. Also, ring the notification bell so you're notified every time I've uploaded new videos, as I'm consistently putting up new videos for Watcher of Realms, as this is the main focus of my channel at this point. And also consider subscribing to the channel to help my channel to grow. Nothing left to say. My name is Lawrence. This has been Lawrence's Let's Plays, and I am out of here. Take care, everybody. See you real soon.